Hello everybody of YouTube, my name is Mr. Maxwell and welcome back to another side quest about video games with Housemarque.
Hello!
Of course. The usual. A lot of Sony stuff this week.
Yes.
Happened.
Yes. None of it, well...
A little bit good.
Some
bad.
Some bad. We'll call out the bad shit.
Yeah, you know. So we'll start off with the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Because I believe this is probably more. I would say this is more important than the other things. So indie developers have criticised Sony over discount policies, poor communication, and more things like that. There's a lot. So basically, Sony have basically just not been. For one, they've not been very had very good communication with the indie studios, which it doesn't surprise me with it being Sony.
Yes, with it being Sony and Sony being in like the top dog position. Yes, no, I'm not surprised. Which I was, but you know, Sony's in the dominating position. It can just they tend to do this, and I'm like, no, please don't. Why do you have to be like this?
Major criticisms have been one, obviously the poor communication. Two, Sony are just not like really doing anything with the indie games that they have. Like they're not advertising them on the store or anything like that. You have to generally look for these games. I can attest to that. There's been some indie games that have come out that I've known that they're on the PlayStation because like the trailer on YouTube has said they're on.
But there's nothing really being promoted by Sony.
If you go into the store, you can't find it. You have to go into the search bar.
To be honest, Sony store is pretty damn bad.
It is.
It is.
It is.
I mean, it's not the worst. It is not the worst that store by far, but it's still pretty bad, and the ability to actually just search for stuff is not great.
So there's the lack of promotion that's they've been criticised with. They're also being criticised with where is it? I had the fucking list here.
You'll find it. It's a substantial list.
It is a substantial list.
I wish it wasn't.
Basically, it is like a wish list sort of thing, and it really doesn't do anything for the indie games on there.
Yeah, it seems like Sony are treating them like they're their own. The indie developers are their own. Well, they're part of Sony's infrastructure, and it's like, no, that's not what you do. What you're doing? Why you don't? Please don't. Why are you doing this? They're not indies if you do that. You know, not even EA.
Okay.
I mean, granted, you know, EA kind of are doing it to make them look good, but still, not even EA do this shit. Here we are. Found it. Right, so you have to develop a game for. They've said Platform X here, but it's PlayStation.
It's PlayStation. What you've got to do is, well, what I know is like I think this is actually quite well known as well, is the fact that to get a game onto the PlayStation Store, Sony are very, very like.
Well,
demanding.
Yes, they're very demanding, and yet, on the PlayStation Store, there are some really shit games.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
It's weird. It's like I don't know what route some of these people get.
Especially when you look at some of the indies that are on Steam that they've gone, we couldn't get it onto the PlayStation Store. We couldn't get it onto PlayStation because Sony, we didn't pass the Sony test thing. And then you look at them and you just go, well, why is that not on there? And then you look at the PlayStation Store and see Life of Black Tiger, and you think, well, how the fuck did that get on PlayStation Store?
How the fuck did that get on? How? I just want to know.
You've got to get through the difficult lock check spread over 3 generations of back-end software. Right, you then have to submit a Platform X specific trailer, so a PlayStation specific trailer. Then write a PlayStation blog about it, and then submit multiple forms for social media. That's all the stuff you've got to do. Which seems, it just to get a game onto the console.
It's a very arbitrary.
It just seems like way too many hoops to jump through.
Yeah, could it not just be, look at, you make trailer, give prototype or a working game to Sony, to see whether or not it's good enough, and then they go yay or nay. Why? I mean, there may be a reason why it's not that simple, but...
And you also need to go through an account manager to also do all this.
Why?
And when asked how to get an account manager, this developer was told they're not sure, they are assigned by resources.
Oh.
You also can't do a discount without Sony's approval.
Well, it is Sony's store.
Yeah, I know, but like you could be like, well, we are doing this.
Yeah.
Discount.
I was gonna say it is Sony's store, but it's still a dick fucking move. Like, it's their product. They should be able to at least have a say in how much it's sold for. I'm just like, why? Why is this seems very arbitrary?
It's really stupid as well.
It's very arbitrary. Do you not feel like that?
Yeah, it does. But it's not just that. It feels like a really, like, for me personally, as I've said,
overly complicated.
As I've said a number of times on our chats, like the way I think when it comes to selling things, this is the stupidest thing to do.
Yes.
Like, just get games on your thing and sell them. If developers are coming to you and being like, we would like to sell our game on your console.
Yeah, I mean, obviously have some sort of quality control thing,
yeah,
but
that's
not quality control.
That's just stupid. That I would just be like, okay, that's fine. Let's have a look at your game. Does your game meet a certain criteria of like, does it work?
Does it actually? Does it not break the console?
Yeah. Does it
not break the console?
And stuff like that. And then if it's fine and dandy that way, like technically, and it works on the console and nothing's wrong, then sell it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't need. We don't need a trailer on YouTube, because most likely they'll already do that.
Yeah.
They don't need to have a specific PlayStation trailer. Just let them have their trailer. Then, like every game trailer has at the end what you can get it on.
Yeah.
Like every single one.
Sony don't tell fucking EA to put fucking PlayStation at the end of their fucking trailers.
Yeah. There's not a specific PlayStation trailer for FIFA 2022.
Or Battlefield 2032
yeah.
or whatever.
There's not a only on PlayStation. It's not a deal. You know, like, you don't need to do that.
What is wrong with you?
The blog, why do they need to write a blog? If they're indie developers, the people who are keeping an eye on their games, they're the only ones that are going to read their blogs, and their blogs are going to be on their own website.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a specific PlayStation one. It's just mind-boggling. Why does it need multiple forms of social media to do this? Just to get a game on a store? It's just bashing my head against a wall when I see these things, especially in the games industry. This is why I get very confused in the games when I look at the games industry, especially with sales and what they do. And I know it's like, oh, it's all about making money, but like half the things are just like, this is just dumb. This is going to cost you more money than actually make you. Yeah. And I'm not even in the games industry, and I know that. I know that because I know how selling works.
The AAA game industry is disconnected from reality. There's the only explanation of why they do.
Fucking Sony's disconnected from the fucking.
Yeah, Sony's included in that.
Sony is disconnected from the things.
I'm not mad, Sony.
The thing is, because
I'm
of
just
all,
disappointed.
The other thing is, like, because of all this, it means if you get the PlayStation version of this game, you're always going to get the worst deal.
Yeah. Because
most likely, you're going to be the one that doesn't get like the cool updated version that has like different skins and all this other shit that like the Xbox version and the PC version or the Nintendo Switch version.
It's the same thing with crossplay. like Sony are just like dragging their heels and digging in and going, no, don't want that, no. And I'm like, it doesn't harm anyone. What is your problem?
Doesn't hurt anybody. It's fine.
Like, it makes you look like the bad guy.
Yeah, it does.
Oh.
I mean, to be fair, they are the only guy in the fight right now. Like, there's no one else.
I know, but like, they won't always be the only guy in the fight, and all this will come back to roost when they're not the only guy in the fight. Unless Microsoft pull out of the fucking console market, which they're clearly not going to. Like, because if they were going to, they would have done it after the end of the Xbox One life cycle.
Aye.
Because that's how badly the Xbox One had done. So no, the Xbox is like Xbox consoles are here to stay. So like, just stop being a dick. How hard is it? Jesus Christ, how hard is it in the AAA game industry to not be a dick? It must be really hard.
It's bad when Microsoft look better than you.
Yeah.
To be fair, it is. I don't know there will be people out there who just like love Microsoft and all that sort of stuff. But Microsoft are bad. They are bad. Like, look, if this was the other way around, Microsoft would be doing the exact same thing.
They're just as bad as each other. Just at the moment, Microsoft's in the losing
Microsoft
position.
don't have a choice. They have to do this.
They have to do this because the only thing that they've got going for them right now
is Game Pass.
They are more customer friendly than Sony.
Is Game Pass. That is all Microsoft have.
Oh, and like I say, if Sony wanted to beat Game Pass, all they need to do is just basically on their store or for the subscription service, add the entire library of the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and since it's 2 generations old, PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
That's it. Slam dunk. Done. Gone. And that's just because of the PlayStation 2 library. That library is fucking ridiculous.
It's good. It's a very good library.
There are some really good games still in that.
Why would they do that? Why would Sony do that?
Why would they give the customers what they want? That would pay real money for?
I definitely would want that though. Totally would want that. I would definitely pay, like, because I think Game Pass is like,
I would pay the extra money for PlayStation Now.
Yeah. If they put it all in PlayStation Now and was like, here's all the games from PS2, PS3,
PS1,
some PlayStation games, and the PS4 games are already on there, as well as the ones that are coming.
Yeah.
Here you go. I would just be like, yes, here is my money. There you go. There's a year's subscription. Because I think, if I remember correctly, it's like, it works out like £6 a month if you pay a year's subscription. I think it's the same for Game Pass.
Yeah,
you pay like a yearly, it's like £6-7.
Yeah, if one is cheaper than the other, it's not by much.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Game Pass is
great.
It's a damn good deal.
It's great. It's what we're saying is, like, we think Sony should do that.
Yeah. Sony to answer Microsoft should go with PlayStation Now. Give the option to actually download the games onto your hard drive and just unleash the entirety of their PlayStation 2, 1 and 3 library onto PlayStation Now. That's pretty much it. But yeah, why? I just just Sony, stop being a dick.
Please?
Just stop. Like, please. Can I have one of the major companies not be a dick for at least 6 months? Can I?
I mean, Microsoft haven't been a dick for 6 months.
Hasn't been.
But it is a very low bar.
Yes.
It's a very low bar to step over.
Yes.
I mean, not even step over. A baby could crawl over it with ease.
Yes. Because it's actually underground.
It's that low. It's underground. We need someone like James Cameron to raise the bar.
Yes. If anyone gets that reference, you get a cookie.
Yeah, you can go to your cupboard and get yourself a cookie.
Congratulations.
Well done. But it's kind of annoying because obviously we are Sony fans.
Yeah, and that's why I'm calling this out, because
PlayStation fans, and seeing this is just more stuff to be like, for fuck's sake, Sony.
Yeah.
Just get your act together.
As a person that has been Sony through and through from the PlayStation 1, I will support them when they're right, but when they're wrong, I will call that shit out. Like, this is wrong.
What I don't understand is when the PS4 came, when the PS4 was first announced, and everything was they did everything right.
Yes.
They did absolutely everything right.
Yeah, because when at the end of the PS3 and Xbox 360 cycles, Sony was actually behind them.
Yeah, they were on the back foot.
Yes, which is why Microsoft came out with the whole
the
bullshit DV whatever.
Yeah. Oh god.
On the Xbox One.
That's still probably the worst E3 conference I've ever seen in my life. The reveal of the Xbox One. It's like, actually, I think it's the worst console reveal I've ever seen. That's even worse than the fucking Jaguar. I generally think it is.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Like, you can just read the room the moment he says that. It just dies.
It just kills it.
It's just everybody just stops and just like, wait, what?
Always online. Always online. The Xbox One. It will always be online. It will always built in whatever the fuck the thing's called, where it's the anti-copyright stuff.
Yeah.
And that each disc will be
DRS?
whatever it is, and each disc will be permanently associated with that console. I'm like, yeah, you've fucked yourself here.
You've killed yourself now. You've literally took the revolver, put it to your head,
and I don't think they ever recovered.
No, they haven't.
I don't think they ever recovered from that E3.
No, they haven't.
Console wise,
I think maybe the Xbox Series X might have done something.
Yeah, it's still.
But then obviously everything with COVID happened, and now you can't buy one.
Yeah, the problem is with the Xbox Series X is the same as the PlayStation 5. Yeah. You unless you have no job, in which case I go, how the fuck can you afford a console? Let alone the 20 that you're selling. To be fair,
at this day and age, it's actually more. You're better off actually being on benefits than actually having a job, especially like low pay job.
Yes, because minimum wage is shit.
It's garbage. Well, no, the minimum wage is okay. It's just the hours are shit.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Minimum wage is all right if you're working.
If you work full time, if you work like 37 or 40 hours a week, yes, minimum wage is perfectly fine. Problem being, most contracts are 16 hours, and you can't. Yeah, or 0 hours, which means their employer can literally turn around after they've turned up for a 6-hour shift, worked an hour, and their employer then goes, "Yeah, you can go home. We don't need you."
Yeah,
I've been on the receiving end of that.
Me too.
I know, it's great.
Me too.
I actually turned up for work once and got told I could go home straight away.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I went home, but I was just literally like,
well, what was the point?
Yeah, it's like, well, you obviously don't want me here.
Yeah, no, I've done the same. It's happened to me. I think it's happened to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
Anywho, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Now, what should we talk about now? Should we keep going with Sony?
Yeah, let's keep going with Sony.
Okay, right.
It's a good segue.
Let's go with... Sony has confirmed the acquisition of Housemarque, the developers of Returnal.
Yeah.
Which is, I think this is good. This is a good...
Yeah.
A good buy. Returnal's done really well.
Returnal's done really well. It's a really, really good...
it's a very good roguelike game.
Roguelike, yeah.
It's very good. It's very fun.
And it has the building blocks to, if they decided to build on it, to become an even better game. There's a lot of people that have said, you said that it's a good game, but if you want to be great, just add one or two things.
I think my only criticism of the game is like the actual roguelike elements get in the way of the story. That's my criticism of it. Is that like if you want to if you want to learn the story, you have to do the roguelike stuff.
Well, yeah,
which is fine, right? But the problem is like if you're not that great,
you kind of get
I'm
stuck.
Okay. I'm okay at the game.
How many times have you beaten the Black Final boss?
I've not beaten the final boss yet.
Well,
I've not got that far because I'm playing other games. But like the stuff to do with the house and stuff like that, like you need to find things to get into them, and like they're very easily missed.
Actual explanation. It's a roguelike. That's how. That's the way it's done.
But that's my point. Is like you've got this very, very incredibly interesting story.
Yes.
But you've kind of stuck it behind this roguelike model, which...
Well, the thing is, like, here's the thing, like, that is the way a roguelike actually does progress. Like, you have to go and explore to go and find this new place to go and do this, and then get this key to go into here.
But that's my thing. Like, with Returnal, it is kind of like that, but, like, a lot of it is very massively easily missed. So you can get further on in the game, and then something will pop up and you'll be like, well, what the fuck's that? And that's something referencing something that you missed like ages ago. That's what I mean, is like there's a lot of things that you can very easily miss because the game can get very, very hectic and fast, which is good because I like that. I do like that about the game, but at the same time, you miss certain parts.
I suppose,
it is my one criticism of the game. I don't really have much to be like, oh no, it's terrible. I just think, like, you've got this interesting story, you've just kind of locked it behind this this gate here that, like, only possibly a handful of people are ever gonna see it. So, but that's just my opinion, you know. But yeah, this is a good acquisition for Sony. Like we said, Returnal's a good game. I'm trying to think what else. I'm actually trying to think what else they're making.
Sony does have a high standard on their own products, like, you know, Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man. They do seem to make sure the games come out in a certain condition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't just allow,
especially their
own. It's something with their own name on. They don't just allow anything else. They'll allow anything on their console as long as you do a certain jump through so many arbitrary hoops. The actual quality of your game means is not one of them. I mean, that should be the most important thing. But
there we go. They made. So I just wanted to find a list of games that they've made before Returnal. So they made Resogun.
Yeah, Resogun's quite.
Resogun's very good.
Very good and very fun.
Next Machina. Matterfall. Super Stardust HD.
Yeah.
Dead Nation.
Yeah, I've played that.
Which is pretty cool. Alien Nation, played that. Storm Drivers, never played. Outland, I never played. Angry Birds Trilogy.
Yeah, they've done a bunch of ports as well.
Oh, right, let's see. Stardust, Elfmania. But yeah, that's really... It's got a decent sort of like background. I think, if I'm honest, Returnal was probably their first big AAA game, to be fair. Because as much as Resogun was on a...
It was a launch PS3.
It was a launch PS3 game.
One of the first downloadable games.
I wouldn't say that was like a big AAA game.
No, it wasn't, and it wasn't supposed to be. It was a nice, fun little side shooter.
But yeah, they've got a decent little background.
Yeah.
I am genuinely looking forward to what they do.
And they're given Returnal's the first one that they've actually had like a massive budget for.
That's what
So like it does bode well for later on games.
Maybe we'll get some weird space horror games from them.
Maybe.
They seem to be quite good at... They seem to like to make monster games.
Yeah.
In dark settings.
Yes.
Right. Eternal, Next Machina, Dead Nation, Matterfall. They all look kind of dead.
Yeah. Eternal's not exactly that much far from that either.
That's what I'm saying. They seem to have that, like, that's their style.
Yeah. Not that
so
that's not a complaint.
Well, to be fair, it's not really. It's not, because, like, I think in Sony's catalog, I mean, for that style of game, I think I don't really think they've got one that really do that sort of stuff. If we think about the studios, Naughty Dog's more of your big cinematic game. You've got Santa Monica, which is your God of War, so your big epic looking games. Sucker Punch just seem to be absolutely amazing in making open world games that actually work.
Yeah.
So I think if they can get
Insomniac are just really, really good at
platformers,
and also the Spider-Man.
But a lot of those games, like I've said, the companies that I've just mentioned, they're all bright and colourful games.
Yeah.
Which actually, speaking of bright and colourful games, I'm generally looking forward to Kenna.
Yes.
Because that looks bright and colourful, but at the same time incredibly dark.
Yes. It looks really, really good, and I can't wait for it to come out, even if I don't have a PlayStation yet. PlayStation 5. Anyway, well, yeah, it's a good thing. I know a lot of people are saying that Sony's acquired Bluepoint, but that apparently
we'll talk about that.
Rumor.
We are going to be talking about that next because there's two rumors. One rumor is that Sony have also bought Bluepoint. Now, this has not been confirmed by anybody, and Bluepoint have recently come out and said that they are still independent.
Yeah.
Now, this might be because it just hasn't. One, it might not be finalised, or two, they're still in talks.
There's also rumours that Bluepoint are the ones going to be behind the Metal Gear Solid remake.
That is the other rumour, that Metal Gear Solid is getting a remake. It's going to be PlayStation 5 exclusive, and Bluepoint are going to be the ones that are actually making it.
Yeah. By the way, Bluepoint, first things first. I know it's a rumour, it's not official. So, if it's not going to happen, fine. But if it is going to happen, get the original cast.
Please.
Do it.
Yes, please.
David Hayter, just get them all.
I think if they do get Bluepoint, there's a lot of PlayStation games that can be remastered. If that's what Sony want Bluepoint to be like Vicarious Visions was for Activision before they started to change things
remaster.
Just remaster.
Remaster classic PlayStation games.
That's if that's what they wanted to be. Maybe they want to do something else with them. But that's if the rumor is true. But there's a lot of stuff that you could, like PlayStation 2 era, that you could like remake that are really good.
Yes. Or
just like games that like nobody ever really played. For me, I would love to be able to play Fur Fighters without the janky controls.
Yes.
I would love to play that game.
Fur Fighters Vigo's Revenge.
Vigo's Revenge without the awfully janky controls.
Yeah.
That game and its reverse fucking controls. I'm turning left. Why is it going right?
Yeah. It was before. It was a
long time ago.
It was before, controller, first person controls had actually been like locked down.
Yeah.
So like analog controllers were a new thing.
Yeah.
As like a bog standard controller. So there was a whole bunch of games that came out
with like reverse controls.
With not just reverse controls, but like different like iterations of like how to move around. Some worked better than others, and eventually we settled on
what we have now.
What we have now, I think the first ones we played was Time Splitters.
Yeah. Time
Splitters was one of the first ones that had that left is look, right is movement, or the other way, whichever way it was. Whichever way. It's like automatic now, so I don't even know what to think about.
Yeah.
But like, but in back in those days when new analog sticks were like, they were a new thing, and there was like, oh my god, what do we do? How do we use these things?
Yes. Anyway, back to the thing. So, we'll talk about the Metal Gear Solid remake first. So first off, there is some sort of credence to this because we know Sony have been in talks with Konami over something.
Yes.
So there may be precedents that this might be what they were talking about.
I would also say I'd also like it to be Sony just getting the license for everything.
Oh, Sony just buying Konami.
Yeah, just buy Konami. Just do it, Sony. Just do it.
Please buy Konami.
I mean, you can't do any worse than Konami.
I mean, like Microsoft bought Bethesda with their.
Like I said when we were talking about, the only counter punch to this is Sony going over to Konami and going, "We buy you.
You belong to us now.
You belong to us now." Some Yakuza game like takeover.
Yeah.
Just Kiryu shows up.
I just want to know: do they both take that just to rip their shirt and jacket off at the same time?
At the same time, and show a cool ass fucking tattoo. With their glistening muscles.
So yeah. what was I going to say? I've lost my brain now.
It's rumored that Bluepoint are going to be working on the remake of Metal Gear Solid, the first one.
Yes.
Now, the thing is with Metal Gear Solid, Demon Souls, you can the one thing that you need to work on that they need to work on that to make it better was the controls, to make it more smoother, and then give it a really, really, really gorgeous coat of paint.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid is a little bit different because
I don't know. I think if anybody can do it, it is Bluepoint.
Yeah, Bluepoint. I'm saying like I'm not saying that they can't do it. I'm one of probably the better suited teams to do it. It's probably Bluepoint, but there's a lot of things in Metal Gear Solid that are like just getting the license from Konami. You're gonna have to have Kojima on board, because there's certain things like Metal Gear Solid had a part where to call Meryl, you had to look on the back of the case for her code.
Yes.
Like, the thing was, when that first happened to me, I thought it's on the back of the case. So I had a CD case in my inventory. I was looking at it, I was like, wait, back of what? I can't look at the back of it. What do you want? What is the meaning of this? And then I was just like, it's on the back of this. It's the back of the game kit. Wait, what? Pardon? Excuse me?
I beg your pardon.
Wait, hold on. 4-4. Excuse me, 4-4 here.
Obviously, there are going to have to be maybe some changes. See, that doesn't have to change.
No, I know that doesn't have to change.
Although I suppose,
as an example, like the stuff with Psycho Mantis.
That's going to be Psycho Mantis is going to be a pain in the ass. He reads your hard drive now. You can't take that out and put it in a different box.
Yeah, how the hell do you do that fight when it's like he reads your controls? So you had to switch it, put it into port 2 to fight him. Like, how do you? Unless
you, what you could do is go 2-player, and you use the second player controller.
Yeah.
So you go into 2-player, then you switch off player 1.
Yeah.
And just use player 2.
Yeah, that might be the way to do it. That's just like, but that's not even like half the stuff that's in that game.
Oh yeah, I know.
But also like the fact that the way it was designed took the whole thing was designed on the fact that the gameplay and everything was designed on the camera angle that you had. And there is a remake of Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
It's called Twin Snakes.
It's not very good.
No.
Yeah, but the thing is that was made for the
Nintendo.
The GameCube.
The Nintendo GameCube.
And whereas the thing is, I think the reason why that was done was because I think just before that was the Resident Evil remake for the GameCube that came out, and I think they were trying to capitalize on it. Yeah. And they didn't.
It wasn't well implemented.
Yeah. Whereas I think if we've seen anything from the remasters that we've seen now, a lot of them are trying to keep it as close to the original as possible,
but adding all the
but changing it to be a more modern playstyle.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested. If it is a thing, I'm not gonna just instantly brush it aside and say, "Oh, it won't be as good as the original," or blah blah blah. I'll be interested to see how it goes. It is just a case of how are they going to do certain things in that game, because some of those moments in that game, the fight with the tank and Vulcan Raven and all that sort of stuff, are made as iconic as they are because of, in a sense, the limitations of the technology at the time.
I don't know. I think
there was a lot of neat touches in that game.
Oh yeah,
there was a lot of neat.
Metal Gear Solid is still the only Metal Gear game I've actually bothered to complete.
Yeah, because you got confused. You were very, very, very disappointed when you weren't Snake. And...
Yeah, I got Raiden. Raiden came out of the thing, took his helmet off, and I was just like, "That's not Snake. Goodbye, sir."
Snake Eater's amazing though.
And I just couldn't be bothered playing.
Yeah, after that you didn't even care. But like Snake Eater is just.
And I only want to be
amazing.
I think my thing is like I only want to be Solid Snake.
Yeah.
So if what was he called in Snake Eater? I know it's something Snake.
Yeah, it's something Snake. It's Venom Snake.
Venom Snake, yeah. So
well, it's Big Boss.
Yeah, it's Big Boss. But like it's Venom Snake, it's not Solid Snake. And then I mean Solid Snake. Next time Solid Snake's in, it's 4. And I was just like, but I didn't play 2 or 3. And I feel like I have to play those to know what the hell any idea what's going on here. So I was just like, nah, can't be bothered. Yeah. And then obviously 5 and Phantom Pain. I was just kind of like, well, I'm just Big Boss now, and I really.
But you're not even Big Boss.
But I'm not Big Boss, so therefore.
You're not even Big Boss.
And therefore,
that's
I don't
the
care.
big.
The only thing I care about in 5 is the fact that you can get Jutney's arm.
Yes.
That's the only thing I care about.
And then punch people with it with a rocket punch. It's great. Yeah. It's great.
But yeah, it's a thing to keep an eye on, though.
Yes.
Also, keep an eye on the whole Blue Point thing. Even though, like I said, Blue Point have come out and said that they're still independent.
There was a lot of people saying that Blue Point's acquisition by Sony was a certified thing. So whether it was just they got confused, it was a confusion with the other.
The thing is that the person who apparently the person who got it is usually quite reliable. Yeah. He's not really had that many leaks that have been. This may be one of them that have been wrong, but apparently he's usually, whenever he does get a leak, and it's usually a thing. So like I said, this might be one of those it's just like it hasn't been finalized yet, so they're not announcing anything. But I think if they do get Blue Point is a massive acquisition for Sony, especially after the Demon Souls show. Just because I think if that's what they can do in a remake, if they don't want to do remakes of Blue Point, I think they could make good,
a really, really good game, yeah.
Original IPs. So who knows? So that's that. That's Sony done with.
Mm-hmm.
The good and the bad.
Mm-hmm. Not much really else, is there?
Not really much else. Just 2 things that I wanted to talk about. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the Final Fantasy 14.
Yes.
Because I'm a big Final Fantasy 14 nerd. Final Fantasy 14 has broke its concurrent player base record on Steam recently. Now, most likely, this is due to the fact that if you've looked on YouTube, and we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, there's a lot of WoW YouTubers that are just switching over to Final Fantasy. Why? Why, you may be asking, why are they doing this? Well, one, right now is a really good time to get into Final Fantasy 14.
Because everything's getting geared up.
Everything's kicking off for
the final arc of this storyline.
For Endwalker, also, Final Fantasy's free up till Stormblood.
Yeah,
it's free to play, so you can get to level 60 and complete the entire. You can complete A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward, which Heaven's Ward is absolutely fantastic, for free.
Yeah,
that's like I'm gonna say around about 250, maybe 300 hours of content.
Yeah.
For you to just grind
and
out.
Heaven's Ward is like the thing people tell people to get to.
Yeah, everybody tells you to. The thing is, like, as much as people would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna because it's a slog, I'm gonna skip A Realm Reborn." Do not skip A Realm Reborn. Don't do it. Just push your way through and focus on the story.
Find some people who have already gone through it.
Do what Magpie's doing with me. Just find people that have already done it, and just get them to drag you through that mess.
Just get them to power level you through that slog.
Because there's a lot of stuff that gets referenced later on, especially in Stormblood and in Shadowbringers, if you're going to go that far. That happens in A Realm Reborn. So if you skip that, you're not going to have any idea what these people are talking about. But this is really good. Again, another big thing for Final Fantasy 14. The 14 is just killing it lately.
Yeah,
it's all over the place.
and And I think a lot of people I think the big problem WoW has is every expansion has not.
Right. I generally think the main problem with WoW is the people that started World of Warcraft aren't there anymore. And I think the people that have come in, they've come in and out. There's other people that come in. It feels like every expansion it's different people.
There's no coherent plot line sort of.
Yeah, and that's just with the story.
But also the extra things they've added to try and.
Yeah, I think the other thing is whereas classic WoW, I mean maybe classic WoW now, maybe doesn't do this, but I feel like old WoW, it was kind of like Final Fantasy 14 is now, whereas you don't have to play WoW every minute of every day. We want you to have fun in the game, but don't burn yourself out.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the attitude for what Warcraft then. Now it generally, of what I've seen and what a lot of criticism that I've seen about the game is
you have to go
in and do your
dailies.
Feels like it's a live service game.
You have to go in and do your dailies.
You have to go in and you have to go and do your dailies. Now a lot of people are going to be fine with that. It's an MMO. But as Yoshi P has said with Final Fantasy, you don't want to get burned out on these games, because when you go back to them, you'll have negative feelings towards them.
Yeah.
And what Yoshi P and his team have said, we would rather you get what you want from the game, go away,
come back when
the next expansion's out and have fun again, but not just come in every day just to do some stupid daily thing or to get a
basically
weapon.
If
that's not what you want to do,
go in and
don't do
and
it.
have a really slow, grindy experience.
Yeah.
We want you to actually have fun.
Yeah. And I think that's the difference now. And the thing with WoW is you can tell
there's a lot,
that's not there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in WoW which is very, in a sense, box ticking.
Kinda, yeah.
In a sense, which is which in a sense is a shame, because it has the potential to be as engaging as Final Fantasy 14. I think that's the thing. Final Fantasy 14 feels more engaging than.
Yeah.
WoW. WoW's engaging in the sense that you have to do this,
again, this is another
this and this.
I think another thing is that's another thing with WoW is that it feels like it didn't start off that way. It started off in a much more community based game where it wants you to talk to everybody. It wants you to go around and make friends and that sort of stuff. Whereas now it feels like you said, it just feels like you're going in and you're ticking boxes.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Whereas Final Fantasy is, it's not as community driven as it wants you to. It does want you to have fun in whatever way you want, but it does have that community sort of thing there, the whole thing with free companies and all that. But if you just want to be a loner and just go through the story, you can do that now, especially with the new trust system with the dungeons. You can just do the dungeons on your own and have NPCs be the other things, which is great. I absolutely love it, especially considering I'm a DPS main, so it's very hard for me to get into a dungeon if I don't do the trust system, because because everybody else is a DPS. Everybody else is a DPS. Nobody's a tank.
I mean, to be honest, the problem because of that is because the DPSs tend to look cooler.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, the Dragoon, my boy, he's just awesome.
The other thing,
his armor is badass as fuck.
Oh yes, the Dragoon and the Dark Knight, those two armor sets are just fantastic.
Yeah.
And my samurai armor, I mean, the one I've got on now isn't great, but the old one that I had, which was basically Aurons from Final Fantasy X, just badass.
Like I say, if I had a samurai, I'd have to have white coat, just a pure white coat with black.
Yeah, I'd be a beach captain.
Yes, Gote for.
I'd have a Gote 13. I want to be one of those, but I can't find one that I like.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but that's great. That's more stuff for Final Fantasy 14. It's doing well. Although I am going to say, apparently the latest update for WoW is doing quite well.
Yeah,
it's doing quite well. So,
well, it's not. We don't want WoW to go away because Final Fantasy 14 is probably in the position that it is because of WoW. Because of WoW's domination of the market. And Final Fantasy 14 got its foot in the door, realised it needed to do an awful lot of reworking.
Well,
and then it did the reworking.
There was an interview with Yoshi P, and he basically said that if it wasn't for WoW, we probably wouldn't be where we are now.
Yeah.
He's a big he's a Blizzard fanboy. He's a self-confessed Blizzard fanboy. I mean, I suppose somebody has to be.
Yes.
But yeah, a lot of the earlier ideas for Final Fantasy 14 came from.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain classes that are clearly from inspired.
Yeah.
By WoW.
And it's not a bad thing.
No.
If I'm honest, it's something that I think the developers of WoW should do.
I just love the fact that the new healer class is literally a fucking Gundam character. It's like, yes,
I found my healer class now.
Please give me. I just want to basically shout at the top of my lungs, funnels. Anyway, but it's something that I think WoW has suffered from. I think because WoW was at the top for so long, I don't think the developers looked at the other MMOs that are like up and coming MMOs. There's been a lot of criticism over the way WoW's progression system works.
Yeah.
Like we've said, it feels to the players that it's more of a box ticking exercise instead of an actual thing. And
I think because I think sometimes they've just refused to acknowledge other MMOs that are up and coming. So
they have the WWE problem.
Yeah, probably. I think they've just refused to look at them and be like, well, we could actually take that. And this is the thing. This is before Blizzard was took over by Activision. Well, actually, even just before, maybe I think for the last I'd say 5 years ago. But before then, what Blizzard used to do was if somebody had an idea in the same type of game that was theirs, Blizzard would just straight up steal that idea and make it better.
Yeah.
That's what Blizzard would do. They would before the competition could even get out the door, they would murder it. They would just break a gun to the back of its head and pull the trigger, no questions asked.
Yeah.
And it feels like now is like
they don't do anything.
They're not even acknowledging that these other things are around.
Yeah, but also even worse is there seems to be a lack of original ideas and a lack of new ideas. Think about it. Overwatch 2, they are removing a player from each team.
Yeah.
And stating that there's a designated tank character.
Yeah.
Instead of adding new things they've actually stripped things away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I still don't understand the reasoning behind that, because yes, okay, maybe you're there seems to be maybe focused on the pro scene, but I'm like, but if no one plays your game, no one's going to give a shit about
the pro scene.
About the pro scene.
Especially, this is the thing, I really don't think...
The worst thing you can have is a a bunch of random players, and the person that gets picked to be the tank quits because he didn't want to be the tank. Yeah.
Or 3 players on your team wanted to be the tank, and they're not the tank.
So they quit.
This is the what makes me a little bit like, what are you doing? There's nothing wrong with the concept of Overwatch.
Yeah,
how it works.
Yeah,
it's just the meta.
Yeah, the meta is the problem, and
the whole story of Ultra.
The ultimate meta
is what's the problem?
Is the massive problem? Yeah,
because it makes the game boring.
Yeah,
because everybody just stores their thing, and then everybody unleashes it at one time.
Yeah.
Instead of
because your ultimates were overpowered as fuck.
I will admit, when I play Overwatch, I probably do annoy everybody on my team because I just pop my Ultra whenever the fuck I want. I'm just like, I'm Diva, and everybody's around me, so pop.
Yeah, but the thing is, This is the thing. They don't. There's nothing in Overwatch to encourage people to like break from the meta sort of thing. Like, in a sense, Divas is really, really good on its own because it just kills everyone in the blast radius.
Yeah.
It's so it's like, yeah, it's a clear the area one. But I think the big problem with Overwatch is some of the changes that they made. So, like, for example, Trobio. There's very little risk reward.
Yeah, with some characters.
With characters. And those that had the risk reward, they got rid of it. Again, Reaper with his healing and Trobion with his with the armor.
Yeah.
And the gears that you could pick up. Like, there was a risk going out to get those items.
Yeah.
But the reward was, well, if you pick all those stuff up, that's you can armor up your entire team. And then throw out the turret. And then level it up to level 2. Like, there's very, 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 very little risk reward now. And it basically stagnates the game.
Yeah. I think the only risk reward character, well, for me, would be probably like Tracer and Genji. Yeah, because they're the characters that they kind of have
very
to
squishy.
They're very squishy, but they have to get close.
Yeah,
to do any damage.
You have to time your push with them very, very carefully.
Yeah. But everybody else, I mean, unless I hesitate to say Mercy because Mercy is incredibly squishy. But if you know what you're doing, like me, you can just glide around that map like there's no
I don't understand the thought process of I'm going to take things away from player choice to make the game better. Like,
I don't know. Well, I think this is some of the decisions that have gone into Overwatch 2, I think this might be the reason why Thingy left.
Probably.
Because you think Overwatch was that guy's baby.
Yeah.
Like, here's
the thing, right? And this is me being this is my cynical side coming out, right? I wonder if it's so that the Overwatch League can be smaller and they don't have to pay the players.
That's true. Apparently, the US, like a branch of the US government, are actually looking into the salary cap of Overwatch League.
Are they?
Yeah. It's like a rumour. But I'm not really.
I don't know how much the salary cap is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't
know.
really know much about it.
I don't know. So
I just saw it while I was looking for news the other day. I just saw it as
the salary cap in America in sports is not new. Like the NFL has it, the NHL. Like, a lot of the American sports have the salary cap.
Yeah, this is like a soft salary cap apparently.
So, yeah, I don't know how high the salary cap is in Overwatch.
I think, if I'm honest, I generally think that they don't want to do esports.
Blizzard.
Yeah.
Well,
I think they don't want to do esports.
No, they don't. The fact that they got rid of the Blizzard esports division.
Overwatch League is back.
Yeah.
Have you seen any sort of notification about it?
No, they don't want to. Activision don't want to do.
I didn't even. The only reason why I found out.
Activision don't want to do esports. The only esports they want to do is
it's not even getting pushed on YouTube.
Yeah,
like,
the only esports they want to push is their Call of Duty
League thing.
Yeah, the Call of Duty League thing, and I don't mean even that. I mean the Battle Royale one, because they can put loads and loads of people into a single game.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the cheapest fucking option.
Bobby Kotick. What exactly do you do?
Yeah, 150 million that could have gone on to an actual another game, which could have made Activision even more money. But no, Bobby Kotick has to have it and put it into his bank
or spend it on WoW and
make it better.
Give players stuff to do.
Yeah, give players
other than just tick boxes. Apparently, you could have done that.
Give players something actually interesting to do.
But it is what it is, and like I said. Back to Final Fantasy 14, just killing it. It's really, really good.
The story's great.
I'm so glad that
the story is absolutely fucking fantastic. And I think that's the thing that once a person gets to a certain point, is the thing that will constantly bring them back. It's like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, you generally do like connect with the characters, whereas But again, this was more down to.
I think another problem is that WoW has actually killed a lot of the characters that people were really fond of.
Well, it's not just that. When it comes to that sort of stuff, it's like as much as they were thingy, there's a lot of WoW's really kind of like gone on to the like story was always second. For WoW, it was WoW's sort of thing was always kind of like.
I know, but the thing is, right for Battle for Asgard, I can't remember his name, but like the lead orc, the one who Sylvanas kills, is like one of the few like really lovable characters.
I have seen a lot of complaints about Sylvanas.
Well, yeah, because.
Of like, how is she able to do all this?
It's easy. It's easy. She has plot armor.
Plot armor.
She's whoever's writing the story has a massive hard on for Sylvanas. Now, don't get me wrong. Sylvanas is a very attractive.
I don't even think it's that. I don't even think it's that. I think they're just trying to tap into the I am woman, hear me roar.
Yeah, no, but the problem is that Sylvanas is not a good person.
I know. I know that. Yeah, but this is the thing.
She's a very bad person.
This is the thing.
She burns down the life tree.
Yeah, I know. This is the thing. This is the mental thing of these people.
She burns it to the ground.
They just go. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're good or bad. It's the fact that they're. Oh well, it's a woman doing something really powerful.
Yes.
That's great.
So did the Soviet Union in the 1940s and 50s. They weren't good though.
Yeah. The Romans did a lot of bad things as well. You know, we don't really talk about them, do we? No. We mainly learn about the fucking roads that they built. That's about it. That's all I learned about the Romans, by the way. They built roads. That's all I learned. I had to go to college to learn about like actual Roman shit.
Yeah, the actual cool Roman shit. Like, yeah, by the way, the senators were all backstabbed. By the time Caesar comes around, the Senate, you know how they all go on about the Senate says, oh, this glorious Roman, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, by the time Caesar comes around, the Senate is literally just stabbing each other in the back like every other week.
Yeah.
And I don't mean politically stabbing each other. I mean literally stabbing people in the back.
Yeah, you don't learn any of that stuff from school. You just learn like, oh well, the Romans built the
Romans conquered Britain and they built Hadrian's Wall and they built the roads
and public toilets,
public toilets and the bathhouses.
Yeah,
and that's baths named after that.
Yeah, and that's literally about it.
That is literally all you learn. It's like GCSE history, early 20th century. Now, many of you would probably think, First World War and the Second World War. No, what you learn is the build-up to the First World War, the 1920s America.
1920s America and the
Which,
Great
don't
Crash.
get me wrong, Art Deco is great. But still.
1920s America, the Wall Street crash, a little bit of World War II.
A build-up to the World War II, the home front, and Normandy.
Yeah, and that's about it.
That's pretty much it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is GCSE, British, English /
I mean, it might be different now, but I highly doubt it's going to be much more.
No. Like the actual the actual interesting stuff, you don't learn. They never tell you.
Yeah, you actually have to go and look for the cool stuff. It's kind of annoying.
It's not even the cool stuff. It's like the actual interesting and.
Well, I would say it's cool.
Stuff. Yeah.
In my opinion, I would say it's the cool stuff. But anyway,
you don't learn about you don't learn about the potato famine in Ireland.
No.
You don't learn about the Civil War. The Civil War, you don't get taught about. All you get told about the Civil War is that there was Roundheads and Cavaliers, and the Roundheads won. You don't learn.
And that King Charles was beheaded.
Yeah, that's it. Pretty much it. You don't get told that actually the Civil War was actually 3 civil wars. Not 1, 3. All at separate times as well. Like what the
Guy Fawkes? You just learn that he tried to blow up Parliament. You don't learn why he tried to blow up Parliament.
That, he was Catholic and
anything like that.
There was a group that were trying to fight against Catholic oppression.
Yeah. You don't learn about anything like that. You just he was just trying to blow up Parliament.
Yeah.
Not why. No. He's just he was just trying to blow up Parliament.
VIII.
It was just a Tuesday afternoon.
Here's the thing, right? I did not know Henry VIII actually went to war until I started looking up stuff on YouTube. Like all I knew was that he'd married 6 women.
Yeah.
Beheaded 2 of them. One of them died in childbirth. Divorced 2 of them.
That's what you learn. That's all you learn about Henry VIII is that he had 8 wives.
6.
6 wives. 8, 6. What's the difference?
2. That's the difference.
2. You generally do not learn anything cool.
Interesting. It doesn't even have to be cool. It just has to be interesting. You don't learn that.
You don't learn anything like that. Like you don't even learn. Like he divorced. He beheaded this woman. You don't learn why he beheaded the woman. Like, it could be a bad reason that he beheaded the woman. I'm giving you that. But what I'm saying is, like, there's no you don't learn why.
You don't learn that. Yeah, you don't.
You just learn that he did this, and it's like, well, why did you do that? You don't need to know that. What? I do need to know that.
She committed treason. Okay, so what was her crime? Did she try and like sell stuff to the French?
Did she try and kill him?
Did she try and kill him? No. She just flirted with other guys. Oh.
And there was rumours that she was actually sleeping with
other guys
and one of the guards or something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously him being the king and
being Henry VIII, who was of very short temper.
Yes. Just but it's good to know why. It's good to know why these things happen. Yeah. But why would history class want to teach you why these things?
Yeah, like for example, another thing that they tell you and don't actually go into too much detail is like the causes of World War One. You basically get told Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated, Austria declared war on Serbia, and everyone else started declaring war on each other. You don't learn that like Kaiser Wilhelm, after the assassination, went on a fucking holiday. Like, wait, hang on, wait a minute, hold the thing. He goes on holiday when everyone is gearing up for war. Which leader of a fucking country does that? Apart from Boris Johnson.
Oh, Boris Johnson.
I said apart from Boris Johnson.
I'm just saying, Boris Johnson. He would definitely. David Cameron. Cameron would definitely fucking do that.
Yes, he would.
Anyway, enough about politics.
No, I'm just saying, like, the stuff you don't you don't learn the details, and it's the details that are interesting.
That's very true. It is, but you never learn.
You learn about in World War One. In high school, you learn about the Somme.
I love how we were talking about the story of WoW and how like they've not really thought about things, and then somehow we've managed to get to.
It was about education,
GCSE education.
Something about history.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, I think that's time to move on.
I think, yeah.
And move on to the last thing. Last thing I want to talk about, and it's a good thing. It's a really good thing, and I think it's something that we should talk about. There's a fundraiser called Assassins in Need. It's basically the Assassin's Creed communities that are around and Assassin's Creed creators, stuff like YouTubers and streamers and that. They're all getting together and they're going to be doing like a fundraiser for awareness for mental health. This is just great. I think this is fantastic.
Yeah, and they're going to be playing as many of
considering, I think they're just going to be playing as many of the Assassin's Creed games as possible.
That's pretty cool.
I think this is great. I think this should be more...
Obviously, the ones that are going to get the most views are the ones involving Ezio, because Ezio Auditore is the best character Ubisoft as a whole has ever made.
Yeah, it's closely followed by Sam Fisher.
Yes.
I think. And then... You kind of struggle after that.
Yes, you do.
But anyway, I think this is really good. We see a lot of like bullshit about gamers that come out in the media all the time.
Yes,
about us being, and I feel like, you know what, this is the shit that we need to start combating that bollocks
by promoting
this stuff. And I think even if no one's gonna watch this video, or if somebody does, maybe one or two.
Yeah. But
that's still one and two people
finding out about this.
Yeah. And I think that's good. And I think, namely, I think not only that, I think we should for shame the games media.
Oh yeah, because
they're the ones who do it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're the ones that constantly come out and call their readers bigots, sexists, racists, homophobes, transphobes, all this, everything under the sun, because I don't know. I don't understand why they do it.
It's because the mainstream media
do it.
Has that image of us, and they want to be mainstream media. It's like, look at me, I want to be employed by you.
And I think it's time that
no, notice me. I'm just as bigoted as you are.
I think this is stuff that should be brought up.
Yes.
Especially when it's for mental health, because I think mental health, with the whole
especially
thing,
after,
with the way the world is at the moment. Like,
yeah.
I literally, like, for me personally, like, I don't care about skin color. I don't care about your gender. I don't care about your sexuality or any of that shit. That doesn't matter to me. You are a person, a single person. That is all you are to me.
Yeah.
Everything else is just secondary.
Yeah, it's just basically anything else is like,
right? And I think
it's part of your individuality.
Yeah, everything else is secondary to who you are. They makes you, but at the end of the day, you are a person.
Yeah.
And I will treat you as a person.
Yes.
As a human being with respect.
Yes.
That is how I see life. And I think, for me personally, mental health is one of those things that I think, especially, I mean, as recently, it's much more
prominent.
People are more willing to talk about it now, but I don't believe there's enough people who are willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
Especially in big up
it's
heights.
It's the whole the problem is that there's it's like a culture thing of showing weakness is a bad thing.
Exactly. And I think,
like, you know, this in British terms, the stiff upper lip and all that sort of stuff.
It's that for me there. That's my sort of thing that I want to.
When people go on about toxic masculinity, that's the thing that I go towards, where it's like, yeah, it's the whole thing of like, you're not allowed to show weakness, you can't show this, that, or the other.
That's right.
Like, you have to be macho and nothing affects you.
Yeah,
it's
the
that's
things,
not healthy.
It's the things that like of just being a man, basically.
Yeah.
That is my bad. Like, you can't. You shouldn't show like emotion, or you shouldn't speak out, and stuff like that. You should just take it. And I think that it's that stuff that I want to like address.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, okay, there is racism in the world and there is sexism in the world, but like, I look around the world and I just see shit. I just see garbage at the moment everywhere, and it's just people yelling at each other.
Yeah, is it not too hard to not be dick?
Can we not just talk to each other like actual people?
No,
instead of just yelling at each other.
No, apparently
because that's all we do at the moment.
At the moment, apparently not.
And nothing is worse than Twitter. Twitter is the worst for it. Everybody is just yelling at each other and calling each other.
As soon as someone says something that someone else doesn't agree with, it just becomes an absolute slagging match, and it's like, it's one of the reasons why I'm actually pretty happy with some of the people I follow, because it's just nothing but positivity from them.
Yeah,
it's just pure positivity
all
the way through.
I'm not on Twitter.
Yeah,
because I don't want anything to do with that.
I am, but that's because of certain things, and it's because of the people that I follow.
Yeah, but I just think, like, mental health, like, we were getting somewhere with it, and then all of a sudden it's just, we've kind of like hit a road because of everything that's happened, and I'm like, yeah, we need to talk about that, but we can't
ignore this.
We can't ignore this because this is still bad.
Yeah.
We need to address this.
This roadblock is actually, affecting this.
Like, there's more people committing suicides now than there were 20 years ago. Like, that's bad.
Yeah.
We need to.
Yes.
We need to address this sort of shit. We also need to address the idea of toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Of, like, not the whole they're oppressing women, because that's not happening. Like, I'm sorry, it's not. And the people who are doing that, they're the dicks that very quickly get kicked out.
Yeah, no.
What I'm on about,
the thing is that when women come out about like the generalization of like, men are oppressing women, it's like, no, the vast majority is just like every other group. 99.9% of people aren't like that. The problem is that in these sort of situations is that the minority that are doing the shit are in positions of power, because apparently to get into high positions of power you have to be a fucking dick.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This is the thing that I've also noticed. There's like, we get like, it's like a double standard.
Yes.
So we find out that a guy has done this horrible thing.
Yes.
And we'll completely kick him out, which is the right thing to do. But if we find out a woman has done something bad,
Here's the thing, right?
We don't do anything about it.
Let's talk about something controversial. The whole thing about the epicenter, the start of all this, Gamergate. The original complaint wasn't aimed at the woman who is the computer developer, who was apparently allegedly having a relationship with a person who reviewed her game, and that person gave her game a positive review.
Yeah.
The complaint wasn't about her having a relationship with him. The original complaint, was him not declaring that he was in a relationship with her.
Yeah.
And then giving a positive review.
Mm.
The complaint was against the guy. And then the media twisted that into some sexism bullshit that all the fucking sexists jumped on. Because the sexists, all the actual sexists jumped on that bandwagon and went, yeah, we're like you guys. We're just getting blamed just like you are by all these hyper bullshit feminists. Blah 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 blah. That's what actually happened.
Mm.
And the people that wanted to talk about the actual thing, like Total Biscuit, got absolutely slated for no fucking reason.
Mm.
Because what they wanted to do, because they literally went, hang on, there were actual legitimate concerns here with this scenario. But because it was against the games media did instantly just twisted it and turned it and no, we're not sexist. This is a sexism thing. We're not sexist. says the games media
that defends fucking Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Over their shit.
That hasn't been calling for Ubisoft to be literally dragged through the streets and raked across the coals for what they've done.
2 women.
But a bunch of fans call out a fucking male reviewer, and you instantly turn that into a sexism thing.
Yeah.
What's more sexist? Defending a male one of your staff who's male and failing to call out sexual abuse in a game company, or turning a bunch of complaints from fans and commentators and turning it into a sexism argument. Which one's more sexist? I'm just going to leave that there, and that's the controversial part over.
Wow, we've gone controversial. Like I said, nobody watches these videos anyway. It's perfectly
Don't
fine.
worry, 5 years from now, if somehow you get popular, 5 years from now you'll have to deal with this shit.
I'll have to deal. Well, no, I won't, because I won't have Twitter. I refuse to have Twitter.
I will have to deal with this shit.
You will have to deal with this shit. I refuse to have Twitter.
Like I've said in previous, well, not any of these videos, but a previous video I've actually said, anything I put up, I will never delete.
That's it. I'm not going to delete. Well, unless YouTube gives me no other option.
Yeah, well, yeah. If they tell me, if you're told to take it down, you take it down.
Because I've deleted a couple of videos just because the YouTube just straight up blocked them.
Yeah.
There's a couple of Sackboy videos that got deleted.
Yeah.
YouTube wasn't even.
They blocked it because of the music in the game.
Yeah. So I couldn't.
But anyway, my point is that I'm willing to stand behind the stuff I say, because it's what I believe, and I'm like you. I'm like, a person's gender or color or whatever doesn't affect the way it doesn't affect the way I treat them in the level of respect. It may affect the way I treat them in the way that's like what is acceptable to them or whatever. You know, like how I treat them may slightly differ person to person in the way that I treat an individual differently because of their wants and needs and likes. And
okay,
right.
Right.
That's what I
understand.
Right. Because if you treat everyone the same, you're eventually going to upset people.
All I mean is just going to treat everybody with respect.
Yeah, treat everyone.
That's all I mean.
Yeah.
Obviously, if somebody in a wheelchair needs help, I'm going to help them. Yeah. I'm not going to be like, I wouldn't help that bloke over there because he can clearly do it. So.
The point is, like you, I see everyone and treat everyone with the same level of respect. Yes, I may act slightly differently with one person than another, but that would be depending on how well I know that person and their different wants and needs. Like, if I know someone will be happy with a joke, but that other person won't, I won't tell the joke.
I'd still tell the joke. I'm a terrible person.
Anyway, I think that's enough for that.
That's enough for that. I think we can end it there.
Yeah.
Again, the whole.
Well, like, we'll end it on a good thing. The press and the media in general needs to start showing more of
the good shit,
the good
that's
stuff
going
that
around.
that random gamers just get up and do. Like,
well,
Twitch
actually, you know
is
what?
full. Twitch is full of people doing charity streams.
You know what? Not just gamers.
Yeah.
Other people, like actual people, just doing good stuff.
I know, but Twitch is not full of just gamers. Like, there are people doing art charity streams. There are people doing
I know
music charity streams.
That's what. But I'm saying like not. Let's not just stay in the. Because if we,
I'm just giving Twitch as an example.
Yeah, I'm just what I'm trying to get across is like.
Can we have some more?
If we watch the news, like let's go with the news for an example, right? The news will go. You'll have so our news is like half an hour.
Yeah.
National news is half an hour, and then local news is half an hour.
Yeah.
So, for one half an hour, you'll have 20 minutes of just bad shit, and then those last 10 minutes, there'll be one good thing.
5 minutes of good thing, weather.
Yeah, and then weather, right? And then you get the local news, and it's the exact same thing.
Bad shit. And every now and then, there may be a little bit more in-depth of a good thing.
Yeah, and there's a lot of bad shit, that they go into humongous detail, which I think.
What's even worse?
Do we need to know that?
24-hour news channels, fuck.
Every 20 minutes is just refresh.
CBS, Fox News, Sky News, fucking Sky News Australia is awful. It's just awful. It is just I think, to be honest, if people think some of the Fox News is bad, there are some Australian news channels that are just, whoo boy.
I've never watched any of the Australian ones.
I tend not to try and watch it, but because I'm on Twitter and I follow Skill Up.
Yeah.
Every now and then there'll be a Twitter regarding something in Australia, and it's like, what? Wait, what? Pardon? I'm sorry.
Australia's weird though. I mean, their prime minister literally came out and said they were going to kill Johnny Depp's dogs.
That is very true.
I know they brought them in illegally, but you don't threaten somebody's dogs, man.
Who do you think you are, Cruella de Vil?
What the fuck?
Well, honestly, do you think he's Cruella de Vil? Seriously. Anyway, yeah, no. More good stuff needs to be shouted from the rafters, because
look at these good people.
I'm sick and tired of bad thing happening, blame gamers.
I'm just sick and tired of
or bad thing happening and bad thing happening and bad thing happening and bad thing happening.
I'm just sick of this bad thing's happened. It's either we're gonna blame it's gonna be racism, or it's definitely sexism, or it's definitely this, or it's definitely that, and I'm just
and if they've run out of ideas, gamers.
And I'm in this point now. I watched the other day. I watched a video where somebody mentioned Christianity, and they literally linked it to the KKK. I was like,
I mean, yes.
No.
Let me finish. Yes, all the people in the KKK are Christians, and they've taken a part of the Bible and twisted it to their own means, just like every other religious fucking zealotly nut job.
Yeah, but I'm just like not every Christian is a KKK member.
Yeah,
it's just sort of like, dear God, I was like, you realise there are black people who are Christian?
To be perfectly honest, it's not as bad as Islam, where every person in the Middle East does a bad thing. Extremists are they put it on extremists, and it's like, oh, this religion causes that's like
Islamic extremists.
Islamic extremists. Oh, you mean terrorists?
Yeah, or just evil people.
Yeah. So yeah, just for once,
I would love a day.
Promote the good shit.
I would love a day, one day a week, where the news channels could do.
I'd settle. It's that bad. I'd settle for just one day a month.
Okay, one day a month, the last day of the month. If it has to be something just that one day, you're only allowed to promote Like the good stuff that's going around.
Yeah,
and the good that people are doing.
And I don't mean the way like certain British news.
No, you can say it, BBC.
Like the BBC, who just kiss the ass of the government.
You can say the BBC.
Who go through periods in their shows of kissing the government's ass over and over and over again and saying it's great. That's not what I mean. What I mean is actual decency happening.
Yeah, like showing people who are actually doing things.
You know, like the women that made all the face masks for NHS staff and workers and frontline staff and all that sort of stuff. Like, and I don't mean just a little 5 minute. I don't mean a 5 minute segment. I mean actually go into detail of like how much work and effort they've put into.
All the groups of people that went out and like went and did food drives for the people who couldn't.
Yeah.
Who couldn't go out and get food for themselves and all that sort of shit. Or the people that like the hotels that opened up for the homeless during the COVID outbreak.
Yeah. And
stuff like that. Like all we got was like 2 minute fucking segments on those, and yet they spent like 15 minutes talking about like a court case which we didn't even have any idea what was going on.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it's just generally like,
yeah.
Can you not just give me some good news?
Talk about good stuff.
Please talk about good stuff.
I think we should end it on that.
Please talk about good stuff.
I think we've sidetracked a little bit too much.
But it's fine. It's fine.
Nobody will watch it anyway.
Nobody watches these videos anyway. Anyway, if you have watched this chat, I do hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye now.
Toodles.